Good morning. Tobinjoseph here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is another interesting story of my life, things that I've really experienced that are so-called supernatural, but to me they're just natural occurrences. They happen very often. I'm going to try to record these about once a week as I, recall some of these memories, stories that I've told friends that they're like, that is so unique and so interesting, and you need to tell it on a bigger platform. So here I am. There are people discussing such things on the internet and television shows, just in different ways. They're kind of investigating these things and trying to get them on censors and all this different stuff. But the way it's unfolded to me, all this mystical, supernatural stuff, is in very practical, pragmatic ways, and very aligned to the things that I'm personally seeking to understand in life. So it's as if they're kind of magnetizing towards my unconscious um, desires, almost, or interests. I don't think either of those words are perfect to explain it, but something that I might need uh, in my reality that I'm not necessarily consciously thinking of in the moment, but I'm led to these things through kind of a scavenger hunt left by the universe or left by God. Isaac Newton kind of put that, was that the universe, this world we live in, is essentially a scavenger hunt laid out by God, and if we follow these things along the way, by the divine architect, however you want to term it, um, that we will eventually find our way to a destination, a treasure, an unknown, kind of blindfolded goal that we might have during this lifetime that we've come into this reality with that we don't necessarily remember. And that's for the fun of it, so that we can take these steps along the temple so that we can eventually find the top of the pyramid and have that viewpoint, perspective, and understanding. So anyway, the reason I'm wearing a Slovakia shirt ties into this story. My family, my father's side, traditionally comes from Slovakia up until my father's generation, in which he and some siblings came over to the United States. So, it has a very important part of my life, and I've traveled there several times, and alone, and kind of went on an open-ended trip of discovery when I was in my junior year of college, I believe. Going into senior year, I'm not quite sure. It's been many, many decades since then. But anyway, when I was in college, I've studied kinesiology. If anybody follows me, you kind of know who I am and what my career was prior to moving to Costa Rica. And in kinesiology, we study everything from biomechanics to exercise physiology to neurokinetics to nutrition, psychology, philosophy, a whole realm of awareness of consciousness and how it implements itself or integrates into our physical form, our ability to heal, our ability to live longer, properly, well, mobile, injury-free, and so on and so forth. So I'm in a specific class for nutrition where we start learning about how we can extend our longevity through little tweaks in nutritional influence and micro-macrobiotic connections and all these complex nutritional concepts. But the idea that I extracted was that if we're fueling ourselves with proper nutrition, just like we would fuel a machine with oil, lubricant, gasoline, whatever it needs, requires, and maintain it, that it can potentially last forever, that we can be like the Honda of cars that's been well maintained, and we can live very, very, very long time, much longer than what we've been told is the life expectancy. And as I'm figuring this out, I'm searching the internet for longevity studies and so on and so forth, and I stumble into a rabbit hole in which I found this story, true story, about a guy from China, living in China over the past couple hundred years, that was actually recorded and registered by the Chinese imperial government and was actually sent congratulations, like birthday letters. I'm sorry, I just want to allow a little more light in here, even though I'm going to suffer from the sun, that beautiful Costa Rican sun. So you get a little shaded me, a little light me, both sides. So, anyway, this gentleman's name was Lee Chin Young. Lee Cheng Young, I believe, I recall. And I think they registered him living to 256 years old officially, but people that knew him in his village said he was much older than that. That's just when China started picking up on these registries and so on. But anyway, they've sent him letters on his 100th birthday, on his 200th birthday, congratulating him. And I find this really curious. I'm like, all right, either this is fiction or there's something to this. So I start looking into this guy's life, and he was a lifetime trained herbalist. He was a qigong practitioner. He was kind of this monk that hung out in the mountains and had mystical ancient secrets, and every once in a while would come down and into the village and do some trading of his herbs for some other things that he would be interested in. But yeah, people's grandfathers knew this guy. People would tell their kids about him, and then the kids would grow up and they'd still know this guy and see him walking into the neighborhood. So it's a very interesting story. Fast forward, I'm now in Slovakia on this, maybe a year after I take this class, or maybe it was the same year I was in the class. And I'm wandering around Bratislava, which is their capital and the main city, because my family is working and everything, my cousins and my uncles and such. So they're housing me, but during the day I just kind of go wandering. I'm walking miles around the town and exploring, and I get into the ancient part of Bratislava. So there's like this ancient part in the center, and there's a castle, and then around that they've built the modern city, but they've still maintained this ancient area. And I come up to this beautiful cathedral, and wow, this it's like something out of the Gothic times, and it's gorgeous, just amazing architecture and stonework. And I'm kind of wandering around the building, and I come across what is a tomb, like a concrete. We still use them today. They use them a lot in Costa Rica, like an above-ground concrete tomb. And there's this carving. It's very unique. I'm not even going to be able to explain it properly, but it's almost in like a shell, like an oceanic shell, giant, and then there's this being that's standing. Let me see if I can kind of get his pose, because his body's very abnormal. Yeah, I'm not even going to get it. I'm not even going to do it. So what I want you to do is Google this, and I'll put it in the caption. I'll also put it kind of across the screen here when I do edit on iMovie. Growth, Grof, second word, Palfi, Pallfy, Casal, Csalad, like sea salad. So 3 separate names, but this is the guy's title. And Google this, and you're going to see this image come up. And also on the tombstone, which there's an inscription and carved thing on this tomb that said the guy's name, kind of a title, and the dates he was alive. And it shows that he was 250 years old. Now, I just months earlier read about this guy living in China, and now I'm in Slovakia having very interesting other mystical experiences and wild dreams, and I'm meeting interesting people, and they're telling me stories that I don't know about my ancestors. And I stumble upon this valid, you can look this up, other people have seen it and questioned it and posted it online in Google, this tomb of someone that lived to 250 years old. Now I'm thinking back when I've been, throughout my lifetime reading through the Bible, and in the stories of kings, they tell the history of these ancient Hebrew kings that lived 400, 500 years. There's Egyptian stories of these people living extended timelines, Egyptian kings as well. And in Mesopotamia, Sumeria, there's stories of the Anunnaki living hundreds, if not thousands of years, and there's recorded data of this. And it's very interesting. So that's the point of this story is, sometimes these supernatural things will find you, and if you explore them a little further, you can actually dig into human secrets that have been withheld from the masses. And since then, I've been working on this longevity thing and to help other people through temple kinesis, and now here growing a food forest and medicinal herb garden. That is the intent. So it seems like these things are guiding me to my own destiny, and who knows, maybe I'll live to 250 years old like these guys, and I can teach some of you guys the things that will get us there. So the number one key, from what I've heard, goji berries. Get some goji berries. Thank you for tuning in. That's another wild story of my life.